Most lighting consoles, as we dive into using our consoles and making the most out of them, most lighting consoles are going to offer you the ability to record groups. Now, what are they and why do they matter to you? Hi, I'm David Henry from LearnStageLighting.com, and we're continuing our 5 minutes to better lighting that we're doing all this month. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest. Now, a group is really simple in a lighting console, okay? If I flip over to Onyx, you might see something in a console like this. And I know my screen's a little cropped, but that's okay at the top there. And we've got all these tiles, and all these tiles represent different groups within our console. For example, if I highlight some lights and move it over, here's all of my spot moving heads. Here's all of my wash moving heads. They just turned white. And here are all my LED pars. Now, groups are really great and really important because they can speed up your programming, and they do. Now, most consoles and most pieces of lighting software that offer some kind of group functionality will allow you to take any of these lights that are in here. Let's say we choose this one, okay? And they'll allow you to take any light that's in here and assign it to as many groups as you want. And so you can have a group, for example, with this light in particular that we've highlighted and then lost, but this guy right here. You could have a group, for example, that is this truss right here, okay? That's one group. These 4 lights that are on this mid truss. We can move it a little so we can see it just a little better, okay? We could have a group here that is all of the spot moving head fixtures. We could have a group here for everything above the stage, just the stuff on these back 2 trusses. And these 4 lights can be in all of those groups. In fact, if we had something going on, if we had kind of a fingers look that's really popular in a lot of designs where trusses come vertically over top of the stage, we could go ahead and have one for each finger. Or in this case, we've got these uprights, and we could easily have one for each of these, with maybe even with the light that's straight above it on this upper truss. So when we're using groups, we want to, in general, build as many as possible in our lighting console, because we want to be able to, at a moment's notice, say, okay, now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select everything. One button press, now I can work with them in my console. I want to select just my backlight spots, just my backlight wash units. Maybe all of my backlight wash that includes the stuff on the ground and the LEDs. The truth is the possibilities are endless, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. But when you're sitting down to program your show, whether you've done this before, whether you've worked with groups before, whether you haven't, what you really want to do is think about, for every single light, what are the different ways you'd like to select it? You might want to select it by itself, as well as in groups of all sorts of types. As I've mentioned, by the fixture type, by the position, by a little more broad of a position. You may even have a set of lights that are kind of random, but you use those lights for chases in the audience, and you have another set of lights that you use for chases around the house. In fact, one thing that I do on almost every show is I have 2 groups that are just half of the lighting rig, okay? So I take half of my lights that color mix, like every other, in a nice symmetrical pattern, and I store that to one group. Then I do every other, and I store that to another group, all on these group tiles, which are here in most modern lighting consoles, okay? And so when you're done, the purpose of this and the whole point of this exercise is that you're able to go ahead as you're programming, and you're going to go ahead and be able to quickly select each type of light so that you can begin to work with it. Now, how do we work with it? Well, I'm glad you asked, and we're going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. So thanks so much for watching today. If you haven't, go ahead and grab my gear guide. It's my favorite lights, consoles, and other gear. Just if you're looking for my recommendation when I'm out there looking at all of the different lights and other gear, when you're looking for a recommendation, hop over to my gear guide. when you sign up, you'll get sent the link for it. You can bookmark it, check it anytime, so that you can find the right gear for what you're trying to do and get the best value.